Time one of the strongest shows out there. He's one of the hardest working banjo players. So is Greg too, but he's got this thing where when you know that Lonesome River Band is moving that stage up there, moving that crowd, how do you get that hard? How do you position your hand? Is it more down towards the bridge to get that?
Well, unfortunately, I kind of anchor on the bridge, and it kills some of the tone of the banjo. But you know, the microphone makes up for it, so I don't worry about it. But it's easier for me to anchor that way, and I've never been able to hold this finger down like Scruggs did. That was another thing I do wrong. But it's just I cannot anchor both fingers and my middle finger work. So I just anchor on the bridge. And a lot of people think that, you know, drive is created by playing hard or whatever, but it's really not. It's where you're placing the notes around the beat is what creates the sound that we do, because like when the vocal is going on, I'm playing dead center of the beat, and then if I'm doing a fill or something, I'll push to the front. And a lot of people ask, well, how do you define where you are on the beat? And without like a drum machine or a metronome, you really can't demonstrate that, because it's just, you know, it's a feel thing. And somebody asked Terry Balcom one time in a workshop, and they said, well, what is drive? And he said, it's a state of mind, and that's as much as you can do, you know. I mean, but there's so many different parts of a beat, and we cut a lot of our stuff to a click track or a drum machine, and people say, well, you can't play fill to a drum machine, but you can if you know how to play around it. And I mean, the common thread in music is timing, and you have to have 5 people that think the same way. You have to have 5 people in a bluegrass band that thinks like one drummer, because it's basically a drum kit. And you got the bass doing the kick drum, the mandolin doing the snare, and then the guitar and the banjo doing the hi-hat. And what the hi-hat does, and we're at guitar and the banjo are actually doubling what the hi-hat does a lot of times, because we're playing mostly 16th notes. And but it's how the banjo and guitar works around the steady downbeat of the bass and the mandolin, steady down and up, that creates the drive and creates the energy and creates dynamics. You know, you're working in and out of the mic, you're playing front of the beat, you're playing center of the beat, you're playing on the back of the beat, and you have to have a rhythm guitar player that thinks the same way you do in order to achieve that. And that's kind of what our sound is based around.
You got an example you can give to us, Sam?
Well, it's hard to do without a band. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can kind of hear, like if a vocal's going on, and if you just pay attention to where the downbeat is on my foot, if a vocal's going on, it'll be, and no matter how hard I play it, it's still the center of the beat. And then if I play a fill, I actually got front of the beat for a while, and then I pulled to the back for a second on one lick just to make some, you know, energy happen. And then when the vocal's going on, I'm still right back to center again. And that's what a lot of players do. They think that if they stay on the front all the time, they're creating drive all the time, but you're actually conflicting with the vocal if you do that. So you got to kind of drop back and learn to put the dynamics into it, and get on the front, get on the back, you know. And I mean, like blues players are noted for playing on the back side of the beat, and that's what creates that energy and tension of what they do. And and another thing that you have to watch if you're a bass player or a mandolin player, you can't go with the push. You got to stay true to where you started the song, because if you, like if Mark was talking about Tony Rice, I played with bass players with him before that would go with him on the push, and you'd speed up 10 beats a minute on a song. Yeah. But if the bass player is playing dead center and is confident in where that timing is and stays there, you know, Tony and I can push up and then pull back, and it's always a continuous thing, because Tony's always going to come back to the downbeat no matter what he's doing, and it's so cool to watch how when he plays a solo, he'll twist the time in all different ways, but when it comes to the very end of that, he's always going to end on that G run just ahead of the beat, and then I'm always there after he does dun 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 to do that drag behind it, because to me that is the coolest effect in the world, you know. And that was something me and Tim Austin kind of came up with. When he would do a G run, I would always done and push the front of that, and that lifted it one more time before it goes back into the vocal again.
Well, whatever you were doing, it caught the attention of Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And
The
you
old
learned
time side caught his attention, though. You know,
a better guy couldn't have got it this year, and he deserved it.
Yes.
He really did.
Here, here.
it's been a good experience. Steve's been great to be around, and Mark's had the opportunity to be around him a lot, and Mark's taught him a lot of stuff about the clawhammer stuff, and he's just, it's great that somebody of that caliber takes an interest in our music, and it's only good for all of us.